Jazz and Beyond,
where the standards are always hot
and the mood's just right.
On 702
and Cape Talk.
Jazz and Beyond on 702 and Cape Talk, and the second hour is kicking off with amazing music of guitarist Bheki Khoza. This is out of an album that is called Asambe, which came out a couple of years ago, for that matter. But yes, it's now available online now. And this is an amazing musician, guitarist and pianist, may I add, who's really left his footprints on the South African cultural landscape, not only as a guitarist and pianist, but also as a composer, as a music director, as a performer. Like the fact that he plays the guitar with his left hand, and he taught himself. Good, Bheki, how are you?
Good corner, I'm good, and you?
I'm good, my brother. Welcome to Jazz and Beyond, where you come for the jazz and you stay for a good time.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad as well. And we're talking to you. You're out in Cape Town for some reason. What is the reason, by the way?
Oh no, I decided to work in Cape Town for a change.
Okay.
You know, just like I've stayed in Johannesburg for many years. You know, I was in Johannesburg for 35 years, working there. And then immediately after when the lockdown came, I went back to Durban because everything shut down in Johannesburg that time.
Yes.
Or in the whole country, actually. And no one knew how long it was going to take. When they started opening, I started to frequent Cape Town around the 2020,
21, 22.
It was 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started just to go to Cape Town, and I'll do like maybe 6 gigs and go back. 6 gigs and go back. And until I realized that even though I was staying in Durban, I was not working in Durban regularly. You know, and my scary part actually came around 2023, when the whole year I actually played 3 gigs, literally.
Yo.
3 gigs the whole year. And you'll remember that one of the gigs, even I was helped by you in order to be able to play at Platinum.
Yes, together with Busiso Mesh Mashilwane.
Yeah, you know, you can't believe that when I played that gig was maybe the first gig under my name in Durban.
Wow.
And then I played with Mashilwane at the university, and then I played another gig with when they were inaugurating Madala for doctrine. You know, yeah. So. And it was so bad because I was practicing so much and not getting on stage, you know, so getting very, very, very frustrated by that. And then I got a deal in Cape Town to be a resident at an art gallery. You know, when that deal came, it came right at the right time when I was really contemplating about giving Cape Town a shot. Just to say, let me just work in Cape Town. You know, so I went for that. And somehow that deal did not materialize. But then I decided to go on just from by the spirit now, just to be in Cape Town and work there. And
is it working out beautifully for you?
Man, I have played since, for the whole of 2024 and for the whole of this year, I haven't passed a week without performing.
That is amazing, and that's that's great. What do you why do you think is the difference? What between what have you found happens in Cape Town that allows musicians the opportunity to perform on such a frequent basis as opposed to KZN or maybe in Johannesburg for that matter?
Yeah, now, first of all, what happened with the lockdown? Just let's start from there. How I moved from Johannesburg. When the lockdown happened, it closed everything. I was teaching there from an academy, which was a school, academic school, but it had music. I was providing music in that school as a mobile school.
Mm.
And then I was, of course, the gigs, the venues in Johannesburg had actually disappeared a lot.
Yeah.
I think with the closure of Orbit, one would be playing at Maboneng, maybe like twice a month. And then there was now and then the gigs. The scene had just changed so drastically that what made one be able to live in Johannesburg was more the revenue was by teaching more than by performing.
Mm.
And then when I went up to Durban, it was a worse situation there. And Durban, I found it very tricky that I would see the shows that are happening. There's a lot of shows happening in Durban. Almost every day something is happening somewhere. But you do not know the organizers. You do not know who organized it. You just see something is happening in Howick. Something is happening at the 26th Dam. Something is happening at... also because of the COVID, a lot of people that were performing like from 2020 to 2021, there were either people who have done the application for Concert SA, which could be performing at any venue of their choice, you know. And of course, I did one of those on Streamline, but with the Concert SA, if you qualified, you must wait 2 years to qualify again.
Okay. Look, it clearly is quite a complex situation in terms of opportunities for jazz musicians to, especially where you have to consider whether, are there even venues for jazz and, shows that are curated just for jazz to give a lot of the musicians that are there the opportunity. But we're definitely happy for you that Cape Town is giving you such an amazing platform because of the brilliance of your work, as we heard in that song that we just played called Sacred Ones. Before we started talking, can you just tell me about Asambe? Because Mina, I don't know this album, and it came out in, what was it, 1996 actually. Okay. In 1996.
Yeah, let me talk about that album. Now, what happens there? Oh man, it's gonna be chaos, because that album is the first album that I recorded under my name. Asambe.
This is when you came back from your studies in the US.
Yes, when I came back from the States, I bumped into recording that album. There was a program that was provided by SAFM, which was actually, it was showcasing South African composers.
Mm-hmm.
That was the aim, showcasing South African composers. And it was not to be like a commercial album, which is to be signed into a record company, but it was going to be played at SAFM in conjunction to showcase South African composers.
Uh-huh.
And when I arrived, and I was a music director for the guy who had that contract was the late Glenn Mafugo, the bass player.
Yes.
Remember, I used to play a lot with Brakefas, with Jonas Gwangwa.
Yes.
A very fine bass player, yeah. So he asked me to be music director for his project. But then he said also, I can contribute some songs. And then it comes out, he said, contribute one song. I put one song, one after the other. And he said, no, you know what? I feel like I don't have enough material to do this thing. Can we change the contract and just put your name in there? And it's just you. Yeah.
That's
so, and of
very
course, because
interesting.
he had played, he knew a lot of my repertoire. So we switched in the middle of that whatever agreement. We switched it to be under my name.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
because I want to play a song now, but what I'm also curious about coming back is the fact that only now is this music now being put out there, and the process that has led to this, and for us to be exposed to this, because I am sure by now you have evolved in the way you play and in how you express yourself musically from 1996 when this music came out. I just want to play a song, the title track of the album, Asambe, before we continue our conversation. And if you're listening, it is Jazz and Beyond. I am chatting to Bheki Khoza, guitarist and pianist. Oh, and you must tell us about the piano part as well, who is joining us on Jazz and Beyond about his music, which is now being made worldly available. Here is this, track from the album Asambe that he recorded in 96 that he is talking about. And he is playing the guitar here. I don't know about the piano. He'll tell us all about it. Bheki Khoza on Jazz and Beyond. It is Jazz and Beyond, the music of Bheki Khoza. And this is the album Asambe, out in 96. I also have an album called Getting to Heaven Alive. It's the only album of yours that I've heard, Bheki. And this one came out in 2006. And now there is the album called Identity, which is coming out now in 2025. And this is you doing a piano solo. But just let us know as in what has stopped you from all this other music being released and only now that we can find on, Spotify or iTunes and so forth.
Yeah, now, okay. The Asambe, the songs from Asambe, like, if you, I don't know if it's, well, Asambe, I've got a lot of musicians, very good musicians there.
You can
Even
hear
Moses
that,
Mlenego,
yes. You can hear
they
that.
played that. Denzel played there, Glenn, Jethro, Shasha, Scorpion, it's all beautiful. And the singers, that because I've also got some vocal songs there. But what happened is that I got into a clinch with Sheer Sound. It's a whole different thing which needs court cases.
Yeah.
Sheer Sound, I had a quarrel with them because somehow I got was shrewd the publishing rights of those songs. Sheer Sound ended up having the publishing rights for about 9 songs there, which is a whole long story how they got into that.
Yeah.
But it was not fair. And that bound me from, if I released the songs, that would mean that all the credit and the publishing is handled by Sheer Sound. When I had signed with them only for one song, a song called Bapelile there. There's a song which talks of, for deeds. It was for them to administer that song for 3 years. And then let me decide whether I want to go on or not. And then also the song called Ngoshona Pina. So it's a whole lot of things, how they got those songs, and then somehow they ended up in their publishing, and I was not satisfied. So I couldn't release them knowing that those rights are not in the right place.
So did that also, stop you from, because of those legal woes, stop you from, recording and releasing other music? Because since then, I mean, you've had the album, which I say was the one that I had, Getting to Heaven Alive, in 2006. Did you have any issues with that one? Or was that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, with that one, I had no issues because I had it. The deal on that album was it was called a joint venture. It was between me and the producer who came from Germany. He struck a very straight deal that we're going to do this recording. Our business is going to be on that album. I sold a lot of copies out of my hand from that album because I would bring it on the shows.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so, and it was a joint venture, like a 50-50. This guy was bringing the money, I was bringing the music. And we did that. So that's why that one just we had no problems. But it was not the first album.
Yes.
So while I did that one, I had to ignore Asambe because it had issues, and I was trying to fight it legally.
Yeah.
And it was difficult. Yeah, these guys were bringing big lawyers, Adams, so I couldn't.
I hear you. I hear you, my brother. I just need us to move on very quickly because we don't have much time because there's so much that I so wanted to. Because also just your style of playing the guitar and left-handed and also just what inspires the kind of compositions you have and even your style, because I'm aware of the fact that, you have so much been inspired by your grandmother, because she was the one who would play music and play the harmonica and the harp at home,
and what is called
and also just and just enriching you with the appreciation of your traditional Zulu culture and music, which you can always hear infused in whatever style of music you play.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Agree with me, but because I'm trying to also get to how who is Bheki Khoza in 2025 as opposed to Bheki Khoza who grew up listening to what his grandmother used to play.
It's for me. I discovered that it's actually a blessing that I've kept my ears open into all kinds of musics, and also I had a chance to study, because anyway, that's another story. How I got to study was back to front, because I learned completely by ear, and then I got the theory later. In fact, when I got to the States at the school, I already knew what the teachers were teaching from recordings.
Okay.
And of course, and then also I was lucky to be able to study on my own, to get more into the study of African music, Maskandi, High Life, all those things, when I already had a glimpse of knowing the names of the chords, the theoretical part. To be able to put it together and see how it differs. And also to be able to practice in a way that I'm able to move from one to one. In one song, I can move from one. So I had an extended language.
Absolutely, because you can tell bo Puzu Kemish, Puzu Shugela. Now, and that influence in your music as well.
Yes. That was the advantage, is that the people who play that kind of music, they happen to be, it's more by district where you stay.
Yeah.
And each person learns that what is around the community. But what happened for me is that I started checking all of it more as I took an approach of more like an anthropologist, if you like, but an anthropologist who plays it rather than talk about it.
Yeah. Do you get to teach this aspect of the music, to your students and this influence and the importance of it?
Yes, I always try to teach that all the time. But it's a funny story that when I taught at the school formally, the students were, a lot of them were not into that. I had to almost like preach, to say that this is very important.
Yeah.
And I would always make sure, when I teach somebody the instrument, I always make sure also they get that element, because I do believe, I'm a believer that no matter how much art you do, but you must be able to excel on the one part that comes from your community.
Sure.
Or from your culture.
Yeah.
It has to surpass everything, so that everything it must build up on that.
Yeah. I mean, even when you play, as much as your Zulu cultural and music influence is there is still the sound of maybe a West Montgomery in your playing, or even a Kenny or a Kenny Barrell for that, or maybe even George Benson somewhere, which I think that's what you're trying to say is, as much as you can play anything, but at least it must be, founded in who you are, as a person traditionally.
Yeah. As it has become a voice, and also,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of being able to play, almost, because I take myself as a global player.
Yeah.
Like I'm a guitar player playing in the globe. I don't want to be condensed into that corner, imaginalized corner that I'm playing only Zulu, Maskanda, because that is a whole different thing. To be, I want to be. I have a belief that a musician, if you bring a musician amongst musicians from anywhere in the world, there is a thing where they can meet, where a C in China is a C in South Africa, is a C in America, is a C in Japan.
Yeah.
In terms of, So for me to be able not to be able to communicate with somebody from somewhere else, it means for me, it limits me as a musician who can talk the sound to anybody.
Because that is the language. The sound is the language and a universal one.
No one says that George Benson is a good American guitar player. They say just he's a good guitar player.
There you go.
Without putting a cushion around it, that he's good at what he's doing from the corner, from that corner. And when he's recognized as a great guitar player, no one talks about where he comes from, which city he comes from, and why. When I play, I want the same thing, the same recognition.
Let's talk about let's talk about your piano playing now, because you've got an album out. When you are playing a piano, you're a solo pianist on the album. That, as much as we know you as a guitar player, where does this piano thing come from? Because we have to wrap it up now.
Yeah, that piano thing is. Anyway, a short story is that when I started playing guitar, I did not mean to play guitar. Guitar, when I started it was just a temporary replacement for me to play piano at when I can afford it. So my first love of the instrument was actually piano.
Wow.
The guitar, I got into the guitar because it was only what I could afford. I thought I would change later on when I'm having money to buy a piano. But when I started the guitar, then it agreed with me. And then I didn't go back really to the piano.
It agreed with you. Yeah.
So, but it was, at first, it was a temporary measure. And as you can know, even today, you can get a guitar at a pawn shop for 500 rand. You can't get a keyboard for that.
That's true.
You can't get a piano for that. So that was the thing.
And all these are your compositions on this album.
On that piano happened, and that, a lot of those songs there are mostly my compositions, except I think if the only thing that's not my composition there, I think I did Lagushoni Langa, my own version of Lagushoni Langa. Or I think, I don't know if I did Pata Pata on that one.
No, I didn't see Pata Pata, but
okay, it's that one. Yeah. But everything that is there, not only is my compositions, but it was composed on the spot.
Fantastic. Yeah,
I had these guys who were doing an Academy of Sound Engineering. I actually was a guinea pig for them to do a project. And they set me on I had to do a project with them where I do something on a grand piano. And whatever first note I played, it became a composition.
Wow.
That's why you've got some songs there which is 30 minutes long.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
Because
So
you were just free spiriting, as you were playing. You know, Bheki, you've got so many stories to tell, and very intriguing and interesting ones. I wish we had more time, but just for now, for the listeners of Jazz and Beyond to know that all this music we're talking about is now available for them to download online or buy, for that matter, online, which is great for fans of yours and maybe those who didn't even know about your music, especially behind the controversies of publishing this music and making it available. So where are the people going to see you in Cape Town next performing, since you're on stage every day in Wena Manch?
The next one is on. Is going to be at a place at Sea Point in a place called Moja.
Okay.
Moja Market. Yeah, I'm there on the 30th, and then also I will be appearing with at Cape Town Jazz Festival with Victor Masondo Quartet.
Okay.
I'm a guest of Victor Masondo, myself and Tembi Mjani.
Fantastic.
And Masondo has thrown us in there as guest artist in his show. I'm really looking forward.
Congratulations on that. Thank you so much, Bheki, for joining us. And I'm going to play you out with, your piano solo performance from this album that you're just releasing now called Identity. And this is Revival of the Spirit. Thank you and all the best in Cape Town.
Thanks very much for having me.